think the point that I've reached now is almost a hobby within a hobby. And it's not something I ever anticipated all those years ago when I first started diving into vegetarianism and changing into a vegan lifestyle, and then ultimately into what I consider today to be a whole food, more plant-based type approach to eating. I don't think it's something that you ever really understand, given the way that we treat food in our modern society, or the way that we approach it. We don't teach kids how to cook. We don't teach them nutrition. We don't teach how to cook for yourself, how to make that a part of your life, of a part of your world. Instead, it's all about quickness, right? How can we run through drive-throughs? How can we run to the grocery store and pick up things that we can throw together in 30 minutes or less? So we developed this mentality of food is just something that we have an input. All of a sudden you just kind of develop it. You just bring it into your life, into your world when you need it to energize yourself, without truly thinking about what it does to you, what it does to your energy levels, what it does to your health, to your well-being, again, just to your outlook on life. Because I definitely will say the better I eat, the more I care about the products that I'm using, the foods that I'm creating, just all of this thing. It's amazing the more positive, the more fascinating outlook I have on life. It's something that the more positive, the better you bring something into your life, the better and more positive energy you send back out into the world. I know this is like a huge concept for this month that I'm going to be going over with this month's Cookbook Club recommendation, but it's something that I've been thinking a lot about in the past couple months. And I think that has guided me towards the two cookbooks that I chose for September, and then also for this month in October. Because I have been thinking a lot about that hobby within a hobby. It's like all those years ago, I decided to make food my hobby, to start cooking, to understand, not at a chef level, even though I can pretty much cook any recipe now without having to look at recipes. I know bases that go together. I know spices and herbs to add to dishes. I develop a lot of my own recipes because the knowledge, the base is there because I've been doing this for so long. But even there, even when you are into something, when you get something, when food is a part of your life, you enjoy cooking, I think there's a way to take it all to the next level. And wherever you are on the scale of plant-based eating, and whether you're a newbie or you've been doing it for a number of years and you're looking for creative outlets within this particular hobby, I've got a couple of cookbooks. Again, for September, I chose the Sourdough Bible, and this is an ongoing process. It's something that when I did my research, I found a cookbook that I wanted to follow for an extended period of time, and that's kind of where I am with that right now. Sourdough is not something that you pick up, make a recipe, and move on. It is definitely something that you have to create your starters. So it's something that takes quite a few days before you even have your basis, the basic ingredient ready to make your recipes. And once you have that in place, again, you just have to keep building it and helping it grow and modifying it, and then taking it out and spending hours in some cases, sometimes a couple days. You start a recipe the night before you can actually turn it into bread the following day. So this is something that, again, that I consider to be a hobby within a hobby. And that's where I'm going with October's Cookbook Club as well. Because the cookbook that I've chosen for this month is by someone I've admired for a very long time. When I first moved into vegetarian and vegan and plant-based, when I was first being exposed to that, your first instinct is to make things simple, to do things the way you used to do it. And for me, for you, for I think most of us, cheese was a holdup. It always has been, always will be for plant-based eaters, because cheese is a part of our life. It's something that they include. If you go out to eat, you are going to have cheese in your entree, because it is very difficult to move away from cheese. It is that big of a culture item, here in the Western world. So it's hard to get away from that. And so I immediately tried to find what I consider to be a good plant-based alternative, vegetarian, vegan alternative. And of course, way back when I first jumped on this bandwagon, there just wasn't a lot out there. They were being developed and new things were coming on board. But most of them were, just, didn't have much taste or flavor, or, they didn't cook right. They were rubbery. Again, if you've played in this world, you know everything I'm talking about. But there was one product that the minute I found it, that I really fell in love with the flavor of it, with the consistency of it, with the way that it could be incorporated into recipes. Again, if you've played in this world, you know who I'm talking about. It's Miyoko. Miyoko's cheeses and butters, they've just all been so fabulous, which is why I chose the Vegan Creamery as this month's cookbook for the Cookbook Club. I did so when I saw that she was coming out with a new cookbook, probably a couple months ago. She was offering it pre-order, and I just jumped on because it's Miyoko, and I love her products. So I jumped on, I went ahead and pre-ordered it, and again, promptly forgot about it. Flew to Germany, came home, and sitting on my desk was my copy of the Vegan Creamery. So I'm very excited. Great thing to come home to. Is something that I wasn't really intending to put it into the Cookbook Club process this quickly. But the more I looked through it, the more I felt it really went along with the sourdough Bible from last month. Because, fall here in where I'm from, Pacific Northwest, fall, things start cooling down. The rains come, it gets dark earlier. You have a lot more time inside the house than you do outside the house. And since I'm putting my garden to bed as we speak, I'm starting to clean it out and putting cover crops and, all the good things that you do in October when you have a garden. I'm going to have more time that I would go out, for an hour or two a day sometimes, and weed and just play around in my garden, picking things and, maybe replanting things, things like that, volunteering even for my community garden. I have all that time now to play. So that's one of the reasons I started the sourdough, my sourdough hobby this past month, because I really do want to get good at it. And I want to spend more time in the kitchen trying to figure out how I can incorporate this into my daily habits. And I think this goes along very well with it because, again, butters and cheeses and all those good things, what goes better with that than with bread than cheese? So again, I was very excited to move through this book. And I think one of the things that I like about it, if you know Miyoko's story, she no longer is a part of, if you go to the grocery store and buy Miyoko cheese and butters and things like that, she has backed out of it, sold her interest to the company itself, and she's now doing more foundational work, working with charities, helping people better understand plant-based and eating healthy and all that kind of thing. Working on cookbooks, obviously, with this brand new one that just came out. But again, I love everything she's done, and I love her approach. So when I saw this come out, again, it was something that I jumped on because I like her philosophy. And she has a great introduction that, again, if you pick this up at your library or if you buy it yourself, I highly recommend just spending some time with the first probably even 40 pages, because she goes into her history, why she is, involved in plant-based vegan, how she got involved in milks and cheeses and all that kind of stuff. And I 100% agree with so many of the things that she said. Like here in her introduction, she said, today the biggest cheese companies have found ways to mass-produce cheese, bypassing many of the traditional methods such as long aging required for hard cheeses like cheddar, using adjuncts, which are added ingredients such as fillers and gums, to create in days what used to take months. 100 years ago, the average American ate 4 pounds of cheese per year. In the 70s, 11 pounds. And today, more than 40 pounds. And hence, manufacturers have learned to crank it out. And I think that is one of the things that we're seeing, whether it be in vegan cheeses, in all the plant-based products, all the kinds of things that are being produced right now. We're looking at it for speed, not for health. And I'm hoping, really hoping, based on everything that's happening in the world, that we're changing that around a little bit. Because, in order to create a healthy body, in order to create healthy energy and a healthy outlook for your future, you do have to care about what goes in. You just cannot feed it anything. If you could, again, you could eat plastic, you could eat cardboard, you could eat all these things, and that's not the case. We need things that provide us antioxidants and, proper nutrition at proper times. You can tell that just by how healthy you feel and how much energy you're putting out into the world. So again, I resonate with her line of thinking, always have. And I really want to work on improving some of the ways that I'm cooking and have fun with it too. And I thought this would be a great way to kind of, again, bring in the fall as I have more time. Some of the things that are included in here, the Vegan Creamery. She has a chapter on in the land of milk and cream. She has butter, sour cream, and spreads, yogurt, fresh and fast cheeses as opposed to aged and mold-ripened cheeses, and then ice cream and gelato. That's something that I can't. This summer I had a cookbook on ice cream. We've been kind of involved in doing that. And I'll tell you, one of the things that I was kind of amazed at with her ice cream and a gelato section is the number of her recipes that use something I have never heard of before and I've never used before, and that's watermelon seed kernel milk. She has a watermelon seed kernel milk ice cream, and when you look through this cookbook, there's a variety of recipes in which she uses that watermelon seed milk as a base for her products. Who knew, right? Watermelon seeds. I mean, when I was a kid, they always don't swallow them. You'll have vines growing out of your ears. I remember my dad just used to teasing me with things like that. And you diligently try and take those seeds out to the point now where they create seedless watermelon. But so it's kind of, you tip things around and you actually use watermelon seeds to create a milk product. Fascinating to me. So for that and all these reasons and more, I've decided to create the Vegan Creamery as my Cookbook Club entry for October. Love to have you join along, and if you've had a chance to look at the book or cook anything from there, I'd love to hear your opinions of it. And again, this isn't something that you're just going to pick up, that you are going to, use to create something quick. There is a lot involved in making cheese, which again, the first 50 pages of her book, she goes through the process, through some of the different ingredients you're going to need, like watermelon seeds, right? Some of the different equipment you're going to need. You are going to need different things in your kitchen in order to create some of these recipes, to actually mold some of the hard cheeses, or to, just for longevity purposes, to dehydrate some of this stuff, to actually get consistencies right and where you need it to be. Obviously, ice cream and gelato, you're going to need some type of ice cream freezer in order to create that as well. So this is something that, if you're ready for it, jump on the bandwagon. Again, you can go back to the Sourdough Bible that I had for my September one, or I would highly recommend the Vegan Creamery by Mayoko for October, if you have a little more time on your hands in the next few months here. Instead of, curling up on the couch and watching another Netflix show, I'm going to be in the kitchen actually creating some new and amazing, hopefully amazing things out of my kitchen. I'd love to have you join me, and if you do, please comment here. I'd love to hear from you, what you think of this cookbook and how you're incorporating this new hobby idea into your own plant-based lifestyle.